Мікрофон працює. Усім доброго вечора.
Good evening, everybody. We're happy to welcome you in the Ukrainian Crisis Media Center, the presentation where we discuss the DND art expeditions. Today we have my interlocutors are Yevgeniya Molyar, Sasha Dovghy, participant of the initiative DND. I am Olha Honchar, also participant of the DND art expeditions, and this is an empty chair for those who would like to come here and participate in our discussion. In our secret group, DND, we have 95 participants. Today, today we are not here. Today, many people watch us on stream, and I would like to start with the background of our story. Our DND project appeared in early 2016, and we started to study small cities and towns, and very soon this turned into a series of expeditions, and very soon it turned to be the entire project. We are very grateful to the Heinrich Biolle Foundation, which supports this project, and also I personally is very grateful to the Ukrainian Crisis Media Center team, who contributes much to implementation of this project, and to my colleagues like Yevgeniya and Alexandra, and we are today on stream in 2 languages, in Ukrainian and English, and from time to time I will show you this table saying speak slow to allow simultaneous translation. Now, with this, I would like to give the floor to Yevgeniya Molyar, who will start the presentation. I will, in course of my presentation, I will show pictures and describe this idea about expeditions. Our universal creative method is a spontaneous approach, and we do not plan or structure the future events. And everything that we did this year in terms of art expeditions was planned spontaneously and gradually implemented. The idea also appeared spontaneously. At the end of last year, we visited Lubny town in Poltava region. I'm a researcher of the Soviet times art, and once I was provided by a picture from Lubny. This is a culture club in Poltava region, and we decided to attend this place, and we went to Lubny, and on these remnants of the Soviet epoch, we found a graffiti saying Koryak hut, and we decided to attend this art object, and there in Lubny we came across the name, this strange name which we have chosen as the name of our initiative. In our school years, all of us used to write essays saying, love and know your native land. So this very quick, very rapid glance on the on-site objects which we tried to throw, immediately found some patterns of senses, sense patterns, and we found out that those artists who work with street art, they have a specific focus in the shifting of this sense patterns. That's why in all our expeditions we used the same hashtag, marking all the information that we publicized during this year. Would you please switch off a movie? This is a film made by Lucy Ivanova. It says Bloody Truth. This movie became a pretext for one of our exhibitions. Svema Enterprise was founded as a Soviet plant producing films for cinema industry. Moreover, they produced films which zombied Soviet people. The former Soviet employee describes the secret methods of manipulating Soviet people by Soviet authorities. So I take the general view of a man, of several people. Then I shoot only face, then I shoot a panorama, then I shoot in different ways. The same method of shooting was used for all sorts of videos. So when matching together all these pictures, we choose the best option, the best version for each picture. And when we unite them together, you killed Ukrainian employees. I had to pay salaries. There is the film director's scenario. First, to make all the shooting in line with the scenario. If there are 10 series, then during all these 10 series, you shoot the same decorations. You will be able to see the full version of this movie on our website, where we published all the results, all the outputs from our and findings from our expeditions. We had lots of materials, and we made it in a format of online catalog, online blog. You can download additional texts and videos, and this film will be publicized on that website too. So our first team visited Shostka, and we tried to get into Svema plant. We did not manage to do this. We tried to get special permits. We tried to approach via family ties. We also tried to penetrate into the territory through the fence, but we were detained by police. So all the information which we collected there soon become the foundation for further our trips. Actually, this movie, this documentary made by Lucy Ivanova, this is a documentary about her grandfather and grandmother. Also, we have a colleague Vova Vorotnyov, who calls himself the president of the Marines Club. He tries to present himself as a person who is working slowly, and he uses this term to characterize a method of characterizing a city and the resident of the city. So we try to apply this method, which could be called by French word flaner, is the method to do this. So in each city, we tried to find something which was the most important to one of us. I work with the monumental heritage of the Soviet past, and I paid more attention at the Soviet time objects in each city. Also, we had Andriy Boyka, whose sphere of interest is teenagers' sexuality. And he worked separately. In all those expeditions, I found unique objects. This is, I think, the only mosaic preserved from 1949. 9, this is from Novgorod Siversky. We even attended the local the local cultural authorities and discussed whether it is possible to preserve these mosaics. I'm not sure that in 1 week after our visit, the Lenin's pottery disappeared. From this, we came to conclusion that maybe it's better not to draw attention of local authorities to such things to prevent the disappearance of these objects. Also, we visited the objects of Soviet-style infrastructure, how they are shaped, how they could be used. And there are two ways for development of such spaces, either commercialization or simply closure or liquidation. This is one of the latest expeditions to Popasna town. About the spontaneous approach. When we started our trip to Popasna, we were aware that this was not far from the front line. But our objective was to attend the special sculpture Cosmosfera. And after our visit, we got an experience of this shelling, because this very town is being shelled every night, actually. I will describe the interests of each participant. I think my special topic of interest are the local markets. I think that these are universal places where the communication is concentrated. And these marketplaces are used by all the residents of small town. And when I try to penetrate into the local context, I attend this local market and listen the talks of people. With this, I would like to give the floor to Sasha. I would like to specify in more detail for those who watch us on stream and to put some focuses. In early this year, the DND idea appeared. Actually, this was the initiative devoted to small cities and towns. To discovery of small cities and towns. And in course of attending those small cities and towns, each participant studied his special sphere of interests. Then we posted all the materials from those from those expeditions on the DND website. Actually, you may review these pictures, these products. Actually, we draw attention to some objects in those small cities and towns even for local residents. We visited Lubny, Shostka, Лисичанськ, Сєвєродонецьк, Рубіжне, Новгород-Сіверський, Переяслав-Хмельницький, Попасна, and Херсон, Гола Пристань, Олешки, the former Tsarupinsk. Although geography looks rather spontaneous, but we plan to visit our other places. We also had drafted some plan for the future. In the future, we plan not to just post our materials on website, but to prepare a guidebook. We continuously go into exhibitions, we continuously do research, select best pictures, and we will continue to inform you what we are doing in our expeditions. I think this is one of the best examples of decentralization in cultural process. We should travel and research local realities. And we hope that this virus then will infect more and more researchers who will be more and more interested. I also forgot to mention Arbita town, which picture you see here. Sasha, the floor is yours. I would add a couple of words. This is absolutely open initiative, and anybody may join it. If a person has an objective to study some places which he never attended, if a person is interested to learn something new, to produce some new opinions, and to find new vision, then we encourage you to join us. How do we select the place where to go? We come together, decide about the destination, and go there. What do we do on site? We can study it in various ways, either to establish contact and dialogue with local residents. Also, we can approach to local authorities, local sources of information like press outlets, kiosks, or we can approach the local history museum, to the library. We may attend to the local authority, cultural department of local authorities. This is, so to say, more official, more bureaucratic way of learning about this new place. The next way of learning, of getting information is informal communication with people. Sometimes we travel on weekends, on market days. Sometimes we travel on weekdays. And sometimes we, when the way takes too much time and we arrive too late at noon, for example, to see the local market, to communicate with people at the local market. When you attend such places, you observe that this very narrow community, this where people live, they communicate with each other like with close neighbors. You see very real life, very natural life. You not like wander with the camera. You just penetrate into this group of people, and you feel yourself freely. Uh, you can go around to the local bars, or you can walk at night. You can approach to the local parties, etc. What opinion you can produce in result of all this actions? You can come, you can make a picture of this local community. In all these trips, we realized that we have to produce the method how to classify this all sites. I call this method full, not full, emptied, and empty. When we look at the urbans, they could be full. Full means that the empty territories do not exceed 15%. Under empty places, I mean, for example, deserted houses. These are territories left by people and which go to wilderness, so to say, gradually. The majority of those places that we visited, would you please show the pictures? They are called full, not full, empty, emptied, and empty. These are small illustrations to empty urbans. I think this is Novgorod-Seversky. You can go to the folder which is called Not Full. Not full, these are sites. Empty, these are sites where empty spaces fluctuate between 30 and 80%, and these empty spaces are not neglected by people or left by people, but this is not, they are not fooled by people. Orbita is not emptied, but Orbita was constructed as a satellite for an industrial object which never has been finished. And nevertheless, Orbita is not full, not filled by people. There are two 5-storied buildings where almost 130 people reside. The square of the entire city is equal to a small district city. There is landscape, good landscape planning, but it never had been filled with residents, like a tree which never had grown. The next type in our classification is the emptied centers, up to 85%. This is Hapne. We visited Popasna, as Zhenya mentioned, and now Popasna is approaching to this mark. Before military actions, there were 21,000 residents in Popasna. Now there are up to 4,000 residents in Popasna. And thus it's approaching to the edge of emptied cities. And here we see how these emptied spaces are filled by the forest. In Orbita, the forest does not appear because it does not intervene. While Orbita remains empty at the same for the same period of time as Hapne remains emptied, but the forest takes it offensive. Empty urbans. These are 100% empty cities. The presence of humans in these spaces are just of tourist style or just transit. A good example, Oleshkivsky Sands. We had to attend the desert to get a good starting point for all our measurements of emptiness. And we went to Oleshky Sands and found this destination where no people reside, but nevertheless, this destination exists, and I'm very keen to contribute all my effort to make this more diverse. We also research infrastructure of Ukraine, the hotels, the ways how to reach places. When we take Orbita, you can get there only by car, which you should hire. Orbita is in Cherkasy Oblast. When we published these pictures, some people found them and they understand that that's difficult to get there. To many places, to many destinations, you can get easily, while to Habne or Orbita, they remains in the classified areas, and while we did not comply with the rules established for access to the cities, and we were exiled from those destinations. As for Lysychansk and Rubizhne, please attend Facebook to see the pictures. In Lysychansk, we experienced this sound of shellings and heard them rather clearly. I always try to pay attention at communication, how, for example, how to attract people to the museum. And I found that between Lysychansk and Rubizhne, public transport functions up to 5 p.m., while from Lysychansk to Severodonetsk you can go by 10 p.m. Also in Lysychansk, all the day life stops at 6 p.m. Even bars are closed. And studying how to involve people into the museum, we found out that in Lysychansk, the city is divided into 3 districts. In each district, in Lysychansk, they have 3 different plants and different shops in each district, and they actually separated and they do not attend each other. The industrial history is part of the history of the past. And now they have a lot of memories about the past, and nevertheless, in the city there are a lot of outlets where people can bring scrap metal, and actually all that 3 plants are now gradually disassembled and brought to these outlets for scrap metal. At the same time, there is a big positive consequences of the war, when a lot of repairs, a lot of equipment supplies were done due to the hardships of war. That's why we encourage everybody to travel to those small cities, and maybe you will comment on these videos. Would you please comment what do we see on the screen? This what Sasha shoot as a material for further work. In the very beginning, we show a documentary by Gosha Babansky. He simply he simply shoots uh, I think that all the participants I think that the practical purpose of our activities is to find the tools for the artists. They can work further with these materials. Each artist participating in the exhibitions get inspiration, stays in this atmosphere, and gets inspiration. That's enough to for it's that's enough for the artist for inspiration. Quite often, we communicate with local communities. At the very beginning, I thought that we should involve local residents, but gradually I came to conclusion that maybe involvement and participation and interaction with local residents, maybe that's not the it's not so important. Uh, so I do not see any use in as for us as an artist to be engaged into local affairs. Quite recently, our expeditions, not just artists were participants of our expeditions. There was a dog, a small dog called Ophelia. And this dog uh, one of the artists got inspiration from this dog, and you can try Ophelia website on our Facebook. Maybe somebody would like to participate in our discussion. Maybe you have questions or comments or criticism. Quite often we hear question how to become a participant of our project. As Sasha mentioned, we are open. We invite everybody to participate. The way how we work is rather chaotic and spontaneous. You should be present on Facebook and chat and to catch a moment when we are planning an exhibition, an expedition. We can plan for an expedition within several hours. About Gola Pristan, it was very much different. We had been waiting for a year and had been planning for a year. And another important aspect, the weather. Although this was irrational, but this added inspiration to us. Let us describe the cities which we plan to attend. We have Chervanograd in our plan. In general, we were looking to the west. By now, we more carefully studied the east and south of Ukraine. Besides Chervanograd, we are also planning Novograd-Volhynsky in our ways. If you imagine some other cities and could explain why this very city could be interesting, then you may suggest these urban objects as to our plan. For the next year, we are planning to look at western towns, Chervanograd, and the monument to the first equestrian army. We would like to attend Katovsk town. We are going to inspect Katovsk city. Sasha wishes to add something. Imagine chaos. This is our project. And we try to extract something from that chaos. If somebody wishes to join us, you should understand that it's not possible to bring chaos into order. Yeah, you can just sink into this chaos. This is a desert. I would try to find something interesting. In Pereyaslav-Khmelnytsky, there is the Museum of Peaceful peaceful exploration of space. And look at this church. This is the Space Museum in a church. There is everything in this museum. We attended Pereyaslav 3 times. For a year, we have been planning to do something in Pereyaslav. Why it is important? Today in Pereyaslav, is undergoing important process of identity mutation. In Lysychansk, Severodonetsk, and Rubizhne, which was called the Triangle of Death because of very harmful chemical productions. Now, this chemical enterprises had to stop their operations, and the wild birds came back to that place. Pereyaslav used to be a town where Pereyaslav rally was, Pereyaslav Council was held. Now the new identity is appearing there, is emerging there. Now it is called the place where Ukraine was mentioned under this name. Ukraine for the first time in Ukrainian history. This is how the local identity has been changing. The more we attend this destination, the more we find the signs of this ideological mutations or changes. Recently, we visited that big square where the Pereyaslav Council took place. Then there is the a big stone of rejection, which Vyacheslav Chernovil and the Cossacks put, saying that there were no union with Russia. And now you can see graffiti saying forever united with the United States. I liked very much the museum, the Space Museum in the church. And at the same time, in the same city, there is a museum where which is used as a traditional church for religious services, or you can find the museum of Dnipro battle, which also was made in the church, and now this Baroque style church has been turned back to the church, and there are churches which there are religious services which are held in this church. Actually, this shows the strength of transformations. You can take just a mini bus, and in an hour, you can visit all those museums in Pereyaslav. In Novgorod-Siversky is very picturesque city, full of mosaics. Orbita is an empty city which you advise you to visit. Shostka and Habne are very specific cities. Be ready that you could be caught and exiled from the city. In Shostka, I got an impression that there is only police residing in Shostka. It looks like a strategic object. Lysychansk, Donetsk, Rubizhne are remote locations, and Kherson region is very accessible, and there is a very interesting museum there. There is the Museum of Totalitarian Art, the Museum of Contemporary Art. Actually, all those cities are interesting. For me, during the last year, I understood that in any city I can find something interesting. When I hear from my colleagues that there is nothing interesting in Ukraine, that's not true. Interesting is everywhere, and our creative method of of walking around. Sasha, would you add a couple of words about Kherson Oblast? We attended Kherson Oblast within 3 days, and each our visit was rather impressive. This is one of the participants of our expeditions. When you attend Kherson Oblast, you fall in love with it and you wish to stay there forever. During our on the second day, we were brought to Polina Rayko Museum. On the third day, we attended the Museum of Totalitarian Past. There is a local resident who decided to create this Museum of Totalitarism, and he presents exhibition in very creative way. These are creative works supplied by very creative texts, and looking at them, you see the brutal methods of from the Soviet times. This local resident, Vital, can describe each work. When you are in the Museum of Totalitarianism, which is rather small, just 1/4 of this room, you get shocked. I cannot describe it. You should see either the pictures or attend it. I think that we can finish. I would like to thank to Ola, to Lonya, who take this burden, this mission on them to deal with this project. I would like to thank to all the artists who walk around, wander around together with us, and to thank to all those people whom we met in course of our trips. I like very much Sasha's suggestion, let us go and see. I think if we inspire you to go somewhere, and please post your findings on our DND website. Thank you for attending this event, and please follow us.
наші творчі роботи Аліна Якубенко викладає на сайт ЛТЗСРК. Там і кожна